everybody, it's the lady here, my first ever rant, so let's get into it. I wanted to talk about this whole Me Too business that's going around on social media, and, let me just preface this by saying that a lot of you probably aren't going to agree with my points of view, and that's fine, but I think that we need to start talking about this, and we need to start a dialogue, and we need to change up the whole paradigm, the way that we have a discussion about sexual assault, harassment, and rape. And yeah, I know I said the word. I know it's taboo, but hey, we need to start saying it more often when it applies, because we need to quit being afraid of that word. I mean, and in many respects, I feel like it stands alone. It's its own. A lot of times it gets lumped in with sexual assault, and when really it's on its own tier. So I went on Facebook yesterday morning, and I don't know why. I sometimes get curious as to what's going on in the Facebook land. And so I saw a bunch of people posting, and I think it's great. I think it's wonderful that people want to bring awareness to these types of crimes. Like, keep doing it. Seriously, like, not against that at all. As I myself have been a survivor, not a victim, and we'll get to that, of rape and abuse. Just stop right there with your little judgy judge. I'm sorry, but this is not a gender-specific topic, so feminists, back the fuck off. Like, just stop. Stop with your isms. Stop. I'm not listening. I'm not doing it. Like, moving forward. I know in the biased world of statistics that, they say that women are more likely to be assaulted, when I think the numbers are probably the same. I mean, more men are less likely to report. So it's not gender specific. It happens to everybody, and so let's not make this into a gender issue, please. So the word victim, this is where I have the most issue with this, is people continuing to call themselves victims, to act like victims, for those groups that even defend said victims, using this kind of language. A horrible thing happened to you. I know, I've been there. But to continue this language, and using this word is just makes no freaking sense to me. I think it's part of the problem. I think it's why, why we have issues. So the definition of victim is someone who has been harmed, injured, or killed at the hands or by someone else. Pretty straightforward, makes sense, right? So if you continue to think that way, and you continue that rhetoric, then you will continue to be a victim. And in many respects, you're just validating or giving validation to your attacker, because that's what your attacker wanted in the first place. Rape, specifically, and assault a lot of times, is all about power. It's not so much about sex as it is about power. Someone having complete control over you, and your most intimate parts. If you continue to act like the victim and cower, then that's you're only giving more, like I said, validation to the person who abused you or who attacked you. So just quit it. Really, it's about self-talk. I know, mind-blowing. Crazy. Okay, self-talk. It's really pretty powerful. Words, pretty powerful if we allow them to be. You could say that they're not, but they are. Okay, this is how we communicate. Language is a huge part of civilization and how we relate to each other. So self-talk, it's fucking scientific, okay? And let me explain. So when you talk to yourself and you tell yourself that you are, I don't know, ugly, that you are worthless, that you are a piece of crap, that you are whatever it is, whatever insert negative adjective here, then if you continue to do that, over time, you're going to actually start believing it. Because what happens, okay, when you learn something, when you do something repetitively over and over again, your brain, this thing in here, that big old squishy thing that controls most of your movements and actions and respiration and all that fun stuff, has these things called neurons, and they make those connections. So it's the same with like a cigarette smoker, like someone who's been smoking for a long time, they have these hardwired connections that they need a cigarette, whether it be the physical nicotine or the actual just act of smoking. Like that's also part of it too. But guess what? You can break those connections and you have complete control over this. You can actually change them. You are in control. Wild idea, I know, right? But it's true. So if you continue to believe that you are a victim, then you're going to continue to feel that way. And I don't see how you can move forward. So this whole self-talk thing, just like a smoker who makes these connections to, cigarette smoking, they eventually, a lot of people quit smoking. And how do they do that? Yeah, I know it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's just retraining your brain, rewiring those neurons. So you literally start breaking the habit, whatever it is. And in this case, what I'm talking about is how you talk to yourself. If you continue to tell yourself, that I'm terrible, horrible person, then you're going to end up believing it, which is going to affect everything else. So your emotions, you can become depressed and maybe angry and jaded and maybe continuing the vicious cycle of what happened to you onto other people. By changing that dialogue, you make new connections. So if start telling yourself that you're awesome and that you're beautiful, or that you are great at whatever it is that you're great at doing, you can actually change those. You can change them. Like, wild idea, I know. Like, and maybe you'll start believing that you're not a piece of shit, like really simple stuff. It's all about that. So, neurons that wire together, fire together. I know it's super cheesy, but it's true. You can say, oh, but I'm so sad and I'm so dark and I'm so goth. Oh, guess what? I know even you people out there have the tiniest little bit, the tiniest little shred of self-love somewhere in there. So find it. Because it's not my job to do that. It's your job. I could tell you that you're awesome all day long, but until you start believing it about yourself, it's not going to change a damn thing. You in there, seriously, like, language is pretty powerful and important. So, if you start changing that up, it'll change so much. Getting to the bigger scale, we have organizations, we have people fighting, we have these ismists and people who so many, I feel, just try and validate this victimhood and tell you to act like a victim and not a survivor. If we started telling ourselves, back to the self-talk thing, we started telling ourselves that we're survivors. Survivor is someone who has survived a traumatic event, and it doesn't just have to be, rape or sexual assault. This is, if you have come through the other side of some traumatic, crazy experience, then you are a survivor. Specifically, and I know that's, surviving is a survivor, it's kind of redundant, but anyway, if you want to break it down a little bit, it's someone who copes well with, after going through a difficult time or event or traumatic experience, okay? So, and we all are capable of doing this, Some of us don't have all the tools. Organizations out there that will actually help you. There are also organizations that will harm you and tell you that you are the victim and continue to allow you to become a victim and live in that fucked up mentality again. And I think that people that act that way and big groups of people who act that way, like they are oppressed and they are the victims, are only part of the problem. They are not part of the solution. It's, you know, it's like so simple. We should be working together to make sure that, hey, we're protected, that we are informed so that these things don't continue to happen. How about education? Oh, what a brilliant idea. My God, if only we were more educated. So, you know, my whole point is that it causes more problems in the big picture. People that speak out, like, you really need to change it up. Seriously, just stop allowing them to feel like they are worthless, because you continue to call them and like, oh, I'm so, yeah, it was horrible what happened to them, but what needs to happen is we need to start building each other up, you know, and moving forward and finding that strength, not tearing people down and causing more problems and not getting to the actual core of what is really wrong. So that's my point on that. But going forward, be a survivor, not a victim. I get it. Another thing to remember is critical thinking. Critical thinking is so important. People, like, question everything, especially the shit that you want to hear. Don't be a sheep. You know, be your own leader. You don't have to lead a big crowd, but just be your own leader. Don't allow people to tell you what to do or, you know, tell you what's right for you. And I get it. And I'm probably sitting here doing that too, but whatever. This is my point of view. I'm sharing it. I need to get this off my chest. I know what happened to you was fucking horrible. I've been through it myself, you know, and I know how defeated you can feel and how absolutely worthless you can feel, but you're not, okay? And you can pick yourself up and you can move forward. So, you know, it's so simple. It's one word to another, from victim to survivor. And it may take time to get to, you know, to that point, from victim to survivor. You know, I get it. But it's possible. And we have to find it within ourselves. You know, again, giving validation, like being a victim, giving validation to those that hurt you, you know, and that reflects so largely, even on the big scale. You know, oh, you know, like, oh, if I do this, then I'll, you know, I'll be in the news and I'll be in like big old me and look at me, you know, and that goes both ways. That goes with the victim too. And someone telling you, oh yeah, let's pry on, like, using sympathy from, you know, trying to gain sympathy from others, from a large crowd, for what happened to you. And that just skews people's perspective, you know. And what happens is you end up with false accusations, because people see, oh, like, look at this person, and they were put on TV, and they were, you know, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I want to do that. I'm going to pretend that, you know, that's fucked up. That's a fucked up mentality, and that's how it works. That's not okay. And it invalidates all the people that were actually fucking assaulted, that were actually raped, you know. And then we have, you know, then we have what we have in our justice system now, which, yeah, okay, we have an unjust justice system, okay? That's a whole other topic, but let's just touch on it for a moment. I, for one, was, you know, persuaded, bullied into dropping my own case, and was denied not once, but twice, from a protective order. That piece of shit, dickless piece of shit. So, you know, like, better education about this, you know, how to go about reporting, hey, maybe even testing some of those rape kits, that have been sitting on shelves for so long. Like, that's disgusting. I'm sorry. Like, I can't get behind that. So something else that you all need to remember. You are not defined by a single event. So your assault, your rape does not define you. So many people use that too on a larger scale as well. Well, I was raped, and that's like it. Really? So was I. But guess what? That's not who I am. It's a part of me and always will be. It's just all these little things that have gone on in your life. Like, for me, I'm an artist. I blow glass. That's what I do for a living. Tiger Lily glass art. Check it out on Etsy and all Instagram and all that fun stuff. Anyway, shameless self-promotion. But I like to sing. I like to dance. I write poetry. I build things. I fix things. I don't know. I do a lot of shit. But I'm not just that. I'm my DNA. I'm my genetics. I'm the experiences that I've had throughout my lifetime, from childhood to adolescence to young adulthood. I am 34 years, all wrapped up into a little ball of myself. Ball. Anyway, I am 34 years, all wrapped up into a little ball right here. This is me. And everyone's experiences are different. I get it, but that one event, that rape, does not define me. All the traumatic crap that's happened in my life, because there's been plenty of it, and if you know me, then you know this, does not define me. It's part of who I am, yeah. I have to live with it. Instead of ignoring it or pushing it away, I deal with it on the spot. And if we could teach people how to do that and give them the tools. And there's plenty of organizations out there. If you feel like you don't have anyone, go look up. There's plenty of free counseling. There's, the suicide hotlines. You can call them even if you're not suicidal. If you're just going crazy and having a hard time, you can do it. Like, I get it. Like, I spent plenty of time being sad and depressed, and laying in bed and feeling sorry for myself. So I get it. I'm not cold. I'm not callous. Sometimes, but not in this case. I just got to a point where I wasn't gonna just lay down and die. And what's the point in that? There's so much out there. There's so much that I haven't experienced yet. And yeah, I could die tomorrow, but I want to experience what I can now. And I think that's the mentality we should be teaching to other people, not to just lay down and take it, So, yeah. I digress, but you're in charge. Like, there is something that you're good at. I know there is. And if you're not good at anything, you can learn. What it takes is motivation, which can be difficult, and I know. But there's this thing here, all around this little box, YouTube. Guess what? You can learn just about anything on YouTube. There's the internet. There's your local library. There's your school. There's your elders. Hey, you don't know something, you want to know more about it, you want to learn something, you go out and seek the knowledge, because it's out there. We're not living in the dark ages. There's information everywhere. If we all just kind of bettered ourselves, that whole Star Trek mentality. I know it's totally utopian and crazy, it's silly, but hey, like, Gene Roddenberry was the shit, and he was on point with that. So you're the only one that can fix yourself. There's constantly, and this is for everybody, those that have been through traumatic experiences and those that haven't, You know, we have this dialogue going on in our head all day at the circus. You know, it's like do 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 do. There's there's freaking jugglers and clowns and trapeze artists and elephants and whatever. But there's always this going on in your head. You just have to remember that you're in control, because you are. You know, people, like I said, people can sympathize, they can empathize with you, they can share events with you, or, excuse me, experiences with you, but at the end of the day, they can't fix you. They can be there to help you along, boost you up, and be your little cheerleader, rah, 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 but they can't fix you, only you can. So find it within yourself. Again, you know, find those organizations that will help you if you don't have anybody. You know, just find your strength, because it's there. Don't be a victim. Be a survivor. Be good, do good, love you. And that's my rant. Love it, hate it. I don't really care. I just need to get all this off my chest, and you know, maybe it'll open some eyes, plant seeds, see if they grow.